Hello, it's Courtney with balancewithcourtney.com. I am passionate about helping others discover their happy and inspire them to make it a daily habit. My intention is to hack happy by interviewing experts to share their story and inspire others and create a happy movement. Today's happy expert is Tracey Pontarelli. Yay, I got it right. Tracey, would you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Tracey Pontarelli. I am a personal trainer and a wellness coach. I've got a health and wellness business. I live in New York City with my husband and my 3 teenagers. And yeah, I'm a native from Rhode Island, but I've lived in New York City for 20 years now.
Oh, wonderful. So what got you into what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So fitness and wellness has always been, my personal happy place. So when I was in my early 20s, when I graduated from college, I was still working in the fitness field, but I was pursuing my career in public relations. And so I've worked in some of the biggest public relations firms in the world. And that was I was very good at it. It's very stressful, but I was very good at it, played to a lot of my strengths. I did that until I had my second child. And there was just a breaking point at that point. It was just all too much. I really didn't feel like I was doing a very good job as a mother. I wasn't doing a very good job. I wasn't doing the kind of job I wanted to do at any of it. Didn't think I could be the kind of mother I wanted to be and the kind of executive I wanted to be at the same time. And so that's when I stayed home to raise my kids. And I had another baby. And I would say it was probably when my youngest, who's now in 7th grade, when she entered kindergarten. Some of your moms can probably feel this way, where I just started to feel like I had some space for me. Yeah. And I would say that's when I really started to dig into how could I not only use this for myself, but start to serve others in this capacity. And that's where it really started.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So when you discovered that, were you in a good place with health and fitness with yourself, or did you go through that journey and then learn to inspire others?
Yeah. So I think I will say, here's what I'll say. From a physical fitness perspective, I was always in pretty much a good shape. I'm a creature of habit. I like to exercise. I've realized that I have ADD as time has gone on. Exercise is my lifeline. It really, it improves my mood, which it does for everyone listening. It improves my mood. It helps me remain more focused, and I get a lot of joy out of it. And so fitness has always been something pretty regular. Nutrition was something that I struggled with. I kind of went back and forth. I was really confused. I mean, anyone else who grew up in the 90s, we had some really confusing health information. Yeah. Fat-free and, all of the weird stuff. And I think I just had a very unhealthy, unrealistic, I just had a very unhealthy relationship with food. I never had I would say a disorder, but just never healthy. Right. And so that really shifted over time and was, a huge shift that I really felt was important for other women to hear. Yeah.
The thing when it comes to food, it's so interesting. It's not like we are taught how to eat and what is good for us. We learn by watching the people we're around the most, right? And then we think that's right. Or we see someone that's in shape and then we want to do exactly what they do.
Right.
Yes.
And I know so many people that are in the fitness industry that are fit, not healthy.
Oh, isn't that true?
Yeah. So, and I think God bless us all as women. We're just really hard on ourselves, and we will compare ourselves, constantly to others in a set of really, really unrealistic expectations that are not fair. And I really started to feel strongly that I just saw so many people that just never quite seemed happy with where they were and always wanted, and it just really struck me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be happy when, and I'll be happy when, and yep. Yep, exactly. Well, let's just jump right in. Will you tell the story of how you found you're happy?
Yeah. And it's interesting is I think I've always been by nature an optimistic person,
Hmm.
and I think that does come from my upbringing. My mom is definitely the same way. And so I really naturally always look at the bright side. But I think a pivotal moment for me in terms of finding my internal happiness, when I stopped working in public relations, I went through a significant identity crisis. As I just didn't know how to describe myself without saying that I was a public relations executive. I put such identity into what I did that I didn't know what I was without it. And I, at that point, read Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. And you probably read it, but if anyone's read this book, it was absolutely life-changing for me.
Yes.
And there was one part of the book that I remember he said, if you're attaching yourself to, if you're attaching the definition of who you are or your worth to something external or to something like youthful beauty, it's going to leave. Mm-hmm. If you're lucky, youthful beauty is going to leave because you'll be around long enough to see it go, right? and if you don't have something that you value beyond those external things, you're never going to be happy. And so that was when I really started to journey inward on who I was and what mattered to me and what my values were. And that's when I would say that's where the journey to really starting to understand who I was and who I wanted to become, really the journey to happy really began.
I love that. It's that pivotal moment when we realize, oh, I don't know. I need to discover who I am.
Well, and the whole concept that I was not my thoughts. Right? And I think so many people still, and so, well, I'm sure we'll talk about this. Meditation has been a life-changing practice for me. Recognize that I am not my thoughts, and my thoughts are downright crazy sometimes, and they are not true. They're not helpful, and they're certainly not kind a lot of the times. And to be able to just acknowledge that, and see, okay, that's my mind saying that. And that's just such a huge shift because I used to think everything I thought was true. Yeah.
So true.
Right.
Yes. Yes. And what a scary place to be, those thoughts. So will you define what happiness means to you?
Yeah. For me, happiness means gratitude. Because I really do think, we talked about this beforehand, things happen. Yeah. And I've got 3 teenagers. We've got a lot going on. Everyone, we can't control everything that happens in our lives, but we can control how we show up. And I personally find when I can find my place of gratitude, genuine gratitude in any moment, I can find happiness.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. We were talking about earlier how happiness is coming home to your heart. And what does gratitude do? It automatically brings you to your heart.
Yep.
Automatically.
Yeah.
So really anything we should do, they talk about setting an intention, but anything you do before you do it, think of someone you're grateful for or think of something you're grateful for and then go in with that loving energy. Instead of what we're usually doing, oh my God, I can't do this. This is going to be horrible, in our thoughts, right? We're playing out all that in our head. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. So with gratitude, what are some other things you do on a daily basis just to kind of keep you in your heart?
Yeah. Yeah. So I really embrace meditation. And I try to do it twice a day. So I started with apps and, and I still love apps. I love the Calm app. I love Mindful. I tend to use them now as I'm walking instead of when I'm sitting. And I decided that I really wanted to learn how to sit without a guide and meditate. And so I took a course it's called Ziva meditation, which is kind of like,
I took that course too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
Emily Fletcher.
the universe. This is the universe.
Yes, it is. Yes,
it is.
Oh
it's
my
crazy.
God, no one has brought up Emily. So I love it.
So, well, she's got a brand new book, so everyone should read it. It's called Stress Less, Accomplish More, right? So, and that became really I really committed to 20 minutes 2 times a day. And when you do that, a lot of stuff comes up and you have to kind of work your way through it. And, but it really has become, and probably one of the most important rituals that I do every day. And the morning one I find is the hardest because that's when my mind wants to just run.
Yeah.
And I realize now that I used to just let it do that. I would just get up and like jump out of bed and go, and the day just took me. And so, so 20 minutes every morning, huge, huge, huge daily ritual for me. And then I do it sometime in the afternoon, the second one. And I find that's when I do what we call my naptation, right?
I love it.
I usually kind of doze off a little bit in the middle of it, but it's very restorative.
Yes.
But it's work. Right. It's work. It's like bicep curls for your brain doing the meditation. Mm-hmm. I also do something, a girlfriend of mine, her name is Emily. She's not Emily Fletcher, another Emily, asked me to do what we call the daily Trinity.
Ooh.
And I've done it. Now I do it with a series of girlfriends. So these are probably my 2 most important practices is meditation, the daily Trinity. So every day we have an app called Boxer. I don't know if you've used Boxer. It's like a walkie-talkie app, and you can leave messages for people.
Oh.
And so every day I get on and I say 3 things that I'm proud of, 3 things that I'm grateful for, and 3 things that I desire. And I've got a group of girlfriends that all do the same thing. And so we leave it for each other every day. And it can be, some days it's like, I'm grateful that my alarm clock went off this morning and I got up. Mm-hmm. There's some days are harder than others to get on to the daily Trinity, but those are the days where you really need to get on. Oh. And it's an amazing practice because and if you go back and even you can listen to yourself. But there's a group of my girlfriends that we joke that, they know more about us than our spouses do because they listen to us tell this to each other every single day. Yeah. So those are my two biggest daily practices that I think bring me into my space of happy.
Oh, I love how you named that. I've heard of that exact practice, but I've heard it called the magical morning.
Magical morning. Well, yeah, there's any kind of morning ritual.
Yeah.
Is super, super. And I know some people do, morning. I can't remember. There's another one. It might be called magical mornings where it's like an hour of work in the morning that people do where they do some exercise. Yep. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's called Miracle Morning. Magical Morning is the hour one. Yeah. It doesn't matter, right? It's what you're doing, not what it's called.
No, right. And I realize I don't have an hour in the mornings. I got to get 3 teenagers out of bed and off to school. But I have 20 minutes and and now as soon as everybody's out the door, I do my daily Trinity. And those are the 2 ways. Yeah.
So I got a question about your 20 minutes because moms that do have kids in the home still that need to get them up and going, they really struggle with taking time for themselves before. When you started this practice, did you just get up 20 minutes early or did you shorten 20 minutes in your morning?
I got up 20 minutes earlier. Yeah. And I will say it's one of those things. I know even like the Miracle Mornings, it's an hour practice. Mm-hmm. They say just get up an hour earlier. And it sounds horrific, especially with little kids. But if you just commit to it, it's really just 20 minutes.
Right. And when you establish a time, getting up early for you're putting yourself first. But if you just get up at the same time and say, okay, I'm going to rush through this, you're not going to be 100% there because all you're going to be thinking about, but now I'm going to rush to have to make lunches. I'm going to rush to do this and rush to do that. So setting the intention to getting up earlier, saying I'm putting myself first and then I have plenty of time for everyone else.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And when you start to see this pay off, so I think there's like a period of time where you just have to commit.
Yeah.
And just believe that it's going to pay off because all the science is there on meditation.
Right.
And it's all there. It works. It does make people happier. It has an amazing reduction on stress. And if you can just reduce your stress, you're going to be a happier person, period.
Right.
But it really does help with everything else. And so there's a period of time where I think Emily, I can't remember how long she tells us that we have to do it without missing. It's like at least 30 days.
Oh, you mean a time frame? Yes.
Yeah, right. She tells us that we have to, don't.
And it gets worse before it gets better.
Right. And it does.
Yep.
Because it brings up some stuff in your past you don't feel like.
I remember that process. I'm like, this is supposed to make me feel better. Right. And I'm crying.
Right. Why am I not thinking of all my happy memories while I'm meditating? Why is this stuff coming up? Yeah.
Well, I think of it as a detox.
It is.
It's when it comes to food and exercise, we expect that to happen. Like our body is so sore and we hurt all over. But when it comes to our mind and helping our spirit and our soul, it's like, this is supposed to be easy and all of a sudden make me feel good and blissful. But you got to get rid of all the guck, all the stuff you've been accumulating your whole life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But the beauty on the other side.
Yeah. It's good.
Yep. It's good. You're a happy expert.
Yes.
Right? And you got tools to help other people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good stuff.
Right.
And what I find is when we do the work, when things come our way and we fall down, we get back up. Right. It isn't like a long time where we don't know where to go and we have to seek help. And it's just, we find it. We know where to find it. We go and we're back up ready to go.
Right.
That is amazing and so empowering to know you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so good. Yeah. So with that, we all have the days where we wake up and we're on the wrong side of the bed.
Right.
So when you have those days, what do you do?
Yeah. So, when I have days where there's days where I'll go inward. And I try not to, I do have moments where I have to put my happy face on because I teach exercise classes. But I will conserve personal energy when I need to. And then I really have found, and I think this is one of the things that's most important for people, is I have found a tribe of authentic, vulnerable, supportive women. And if you don't have those people in your life, I'm imagining everyone does, is you're on Courtney's Facebook page, so you have it here. Built in.
Yes.
But I think it's really important to pull the people that light you up, that raise you up, pull them closer. And I don't want to push people away, but I do naturally create less space for them in my life by pulling the people that I want to have a bigger part of my life in closer.
Yeah.
It's like a natural shift.
Yes.
So reaching out, and if I need to reach out to those people.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just need to hear other people's stories. You know what I mean? Just reach out and say, just talk to me.
Right.
And I love how what you said, you had to put on a happy face, because at my lowest time, I have always been in positions of inspiring others, no matter what, whether I be in customer service or a coach. And so I understand having to put on a happy face, but I'm finding that if we can just be vulnerable with others and show up as how we are and how we're feeling, because we're adults, we can still do what we need to do. We can still be there for others, but they can know where we're at, because there's something about energy where, well, she's smiling, but there's something off. And then you have those people, which are usually closest to you, and say, okay, what's going on today? Something's off, right? And what a beautiful world to be able to just walk out with exactly how you're feeling.
Yep,
sure. And just say, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, because guess what? There's no one in this world that hasn't done that.
No.
Right? Yeah. It's a tough one though. It is a tough one. And then you hear act as if, right? But sometimes we just need to say how we're feeling, and then we feel better. It's hiding it and act like making it happen and act like we're feeling okay is what makes it worse, for me anyway.
Right. Because we feel like imposters.
Yes. Yes. Especially when we're doing this for a living. We don't want to feel like an imposter. We want nothing more than to be authentic.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so wonderful. So wonderful. So I want you to share with me about New York a little bit.
Yeah.
So how has New York served you? Have you always lived there?
Yeah. So I grew up in Rhode Island.
Okay.
kind of the opposite of New York. I know there was probably a bus stop in my town. I have no idea where it was. And so, I mean, I moved here after college, and with the exception of a couple of years where I moved up to Boston, I've been here since. I love New York City.
Oh.
So I'll say, here are the things that I love about it.
Yes, please.
One of my friends calls it a city of finalists, which I think is a really great description. People are pretty exceptional here at whatever they do. And so they all operate at a really high level, which is just inspiring. And it's always an opportunity to learn something and just be around people that just are really curious and go-getters.
Yeah, be around Tony Robbins all day.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love being in a pedestrian city.
Oh.
I don't know if I could move now to a city where I'd have to get in a car every time I went somewhere. It's really, I love, I walked 5 miles today before 2 p.m. local time, just going back and forth to the places I needed to be. And so I love that. Right. And I love the vibe of the city. I think we get it right here. We have people with all different political beliefs, ethnic backgrounds. We're all side by side, and somehow we all coexist and get along just fine. And so I love that. I think we're a microcosm of how we could get along if we tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that my kids are exposed to so much, just the museums and just, all of the things that they get to see and do is really amazing. It is a stressful city and it's loud. So I think it's even more, the idea of even, being a stay-at-home mom here was even more pronounced because you've got to be so good at the stuff you do. And so there was this real, so it's hard. And I think it's even more the work I do. And I work with people all over the country, but the work I do here with women in New York City, I think is even more profound and important. But it is a fabulous city. I absolutely love it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always want to ask when someone's living in a place that I've never lived, or really, honestly, I've heard the majority of things I've heard about New York City is it can be very cold and it's loud and it's very busy and there's a lot of people.
Yes.
So I love to hear why someone would choose to live there. And that's so inspiring because it's like anything, it may work for you, but it doesn't work for someone else. But now I told you it's on my bucket list, and it's on my bucket list because it's such a question mark.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
It really does depend on what part of the city you're in. The city's so big, but where I live is a neighborhood. I mean, it's busy, but it's not packed. And, I'll see, I think this is the thing I love. I'm a social person. I'll see friends on the street on my way back and forth to doing whatever I'm doing. And I love that. I love feeling like automatically I can just get out and see friends.
Yeah.
Bump into people.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's something so, to me, heartwarming about seeing people do their daily things, like seeing the same people that go to the same coffee shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that. We're all doing our own thing. Right.
And you become, wherever you are, you become regulars. And, however big your city is, the person at your coffee shop knows you. The person at your dry cleaner knows you. Like, the people in your neighborhood. It's really true.
So true. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was beautiful. So before we go, do you have any last nugget that you want to throw out there for people that are really struggling right now to find their happy?
I think it is, with anything, it really is, well, I'll say 2 things. One is to just start where you are. Start somewhere. And changes happen one small change at a time. And they build. And it's amazing how that happens. And you just really never know what one small change is going to do for you. So whether it be, deciding that you're going to do an app, there's 3 minutes on the Mindful app. 3-minute meditation. You could do 3 minutes.
Yes.
You could decide that you're just going to have a water with lemon in the morning, and just little bitty changes that you can make in your life that will start to build into other changes. And then I would say just continually, the beauty of social media and YouTube and all is you can continually find inspiration out there. And I would say, watch what you're consuming in your mind, right? And start to fill your brain with people, things, ideas that lift you up instead of, watching. My husband tends to turn the news on every morning, and I leave the room. I don't want to start my day with the news.
Right.
I got to start with something else, and I still want to know what's going on in the world, but I've got to find a time to do that. But just really being purposeful about the kinds of things that you're consuming in your mind. Yeah.
So good. So good. I find that when we're feeling down, if we just look around and see what just happened, or what did we watch the night before, or what did we eat the night before, it is all connected.
Oh, yeah.
It's all connected. So every act you take all the time, ask yourself, is this getting me closer to my goal? Is this getting me to where I want to be? And you're right. They're just small little steps. They are. Yep. And it wasn't all done in a day. I don't know about you, but I've been up and down several times in my life.
Oh, yeah. And plan on some more.
Exactly. Yep. I've only lived half my life. So, yes.
Right? The only thing we know for sure is that we do have no idea what's coming next. We know that.
Yep. Yeah. And you find when you find it, or you think you find it and you're comfortable, bang, something happens. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Keeps us on our toes for sure. So please tell everyone how they can reach out and contact you and anything you have going on.
Yes, I would love that. So, I think the best way to reach out to me is on either Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
Tracey with an EY, Pontarelli. I'm sure we'll put it under there. I'm as Coach Tracey.
Oh, I love that. Coach Tracey.
On Facebook, and Coach Tracey _P on Instagram. And I do a number of things, but one of my favorite things that I do is a monthly health and detox 10-day program. So we do those every month for 10 days, and we do it in a really gentle way, but we really just work on these small steps. Really thinking about eating real whole food. We take out caffeine, hardest one, alcohol, gluten, things like that, just for 10 days. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we just play around with it. We do it with a lot of support. There's a bunch of recipes. So that's really fun. I would say definitely reach out to me if you're interested in doing that. And if you want to hear about, some of my favorite books that I've read that lift me up, any of that kind of stuff, I'd love to hear from people.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Tracey.
Oh, you're welcome. This was so fun, Courtney. Thanks for asking me to do it.
You are so welcome. Please hang on so we can chat after.
Okay.
Thank you for taking time for you and for your growth. I hope you discovered new happy habits to support your happiness. Please reach out with questions, or if you need more support, at Happy Balance Facebook group or balancewithcourtney.com. If you need one-on-one help, please book a happy discovery call. Thank you, Tracey.
You're welcome.